Through and through, Rochester has been ranked as one of the hottest cities in the entire country to look out for. And let me tell you, they ain't lying. Just last week, our team has written over 17 different offers for our buyers, and all the homes are going $50,000, $70,000, even $100,000 above asking price, which obviously begs the question that you want to know. Can you even actually afford to buy a house here? Or is everything just gonna go astray? So in this cold, chilly winter day, we're gonna discuss all those things in exploration right now. What's up guys, Gagan here, your favorite real estate agent, and I'm currently in the dungeon of Rochester as we know it. And I wanted to be outside because number one, it's fun to walk, and number two, let me tell you specifically about why it's so chilly to buy a house. Whoa, fire right there, right? But right now, our median cost of homes and acquisitions of those properties in Rochester, it can hover a lot. Ah, that hurt. But for the main part, it's around $175. That's just looking in the inner city and the areas within the inner city alone. Now, from investors to first-time home buyers and everyone else alike, there's only so many homes currently actively available on the market, and every single person from a $500,000 pre-approval to a $200,000 pre-approval is gonna be fighting for the exact same thing. Meaning for you, you're gonna have more competition and unfortunately, less options. But like, why? Why is Rochester so hot right now, and why is everyone looking at it as a commodity? Well, I can tell you from my perspective alone. First and foremost, you got absolutely amazing all four seasons. Like right now, even though it's winter and it sucks, it's still beautiful outside. Number two, you've got the beautiful lake. And number three, it's affordable, which is kind of an oxymoronic statement in and of itself, but let me explain just a little bit. You see, because of the affordability factor alone, people need some place to go. And with all these major cities like New York City, California, and Miami just being completely priced out for people, they need smaller areas. And the new vibe in 2024 and 2025 has been a migration to smaller cities all around. Places like Toledo, Ohio, Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, and smaller markets are getting a lot more traction and a lot more people. Why? People don't like the hustle and bustle of those big areas anymore, and they want something more quaint. Yo, these wind chills are crazy. I hope you guys can appreciate these videos because let me tell you, my hands are kind of freezing. The juxtaposition of affordability and also inventory go hand in hand. You see, in December, there were around 800 homes that were actively listed on the entire month, a 28% decrease from November. And in December, there were only around 300 homes that sold, a 30% decrease from November. So what we're seeing is number one, less inventory and also less sales overall. The question that you have to be asking is, Gagan, isn't this a good thing? You see, and a part of me is inclined to say yes. With so many homes right now that currently aren't being sold, it means for my buyers, they're gonna get more opportunities to actually find something and actually negotiate something as well. But isn't that kind of oxymoronic and counterintuitive to the whole idea that you're not gonna be able to buy a house? Let me explain. You see, as we walk to the reservoir over there, one of the big things that we gotta understand is this, the time, right? We're currently just falling ourselves into the spring market. We haven't hit the spring market or the summer market yet. And if you're watching this in the spring and summertime, let me know how this video did. But for the most part, you gotta remember, more people are going to start actively looking at homes during those periods of time. Meaning right now, buyers are still sitting at home in their PJs. And if you think it's not this cold, look at this frozen reservoir right over there. Ain't nothing to see but ice. It's pretty crazy. You know, and getting back to the topic at hand, albeit in the springtime, you're also gonna see more inventory. I think with the fact that the feds are still talking about lowering rates again, it's gonna be in a situation in which more and more people are gonna have the buying power. Now, I remember the Fed did say they were gonna lower rates, and they didn't due to President Trump's tariffs and regulations around that. We don't know what the future holds, and we don't know what they're gonna actually do because, hey, everything at this point is kind of just up for grabs. The fact of the matter is this: how do I choose the two coldest days in the entire year to shoot content? I don't get it. It makes no sense to me. And you know, projections for Rochester as a whole is still cities that are growing. Because with the Micron project that's developing in Clay, with everything that's happening here with affordable housing, what we're gonna see is an estimated growth population year round. And with more and more people like you guys actively reaching out to us from YouTube, I think we're still gonna see a city that's gonna grow. Now, albeit we haven't had the growth in the last few years, and we've definitely had a lot of projects that were more so spoken than completed, but we're a city that's developing, and that's pretty cool to me. You see, I was talking to Brian, my loan partner, which many of you guys know, a few weeks back, and he said this. He said, Gagan, it's almost unfathomable for more people to get into the market. And I was like, what are you talking about? Because I think this is the maximum amount of people that are gonna be actively looking for homes. Now, we had a very heated and cordial argument about why I think he's wrong and he thinks he's right. But hey, that just goes to show you guys one thing: perspective. More people have different perspectives than mine, and a lot of people have different opinions in which they're correct most of the time, and I'm correct maybe 1 every 20 if I'm lucky. But what I'm trying to say is this: the housing market in Rochester isn't going to crash anytime soon, that's for sure. And at the same time, we're also not at the level yet where 2019 and 2018 are actively in play. We are in a new market, and we absolutely have to make sure that we understand why that's the case. Here's a few specific things that I think we should focus on to ultimately make sure we can maximize our buying powers, irregardlessly of when we choose to come to Rochester. And hey, if you are thinking about making a move to Rochester, I know this video is negative, but we're usually very positive on the channel. If you're thinking about making a move, our team would love the opportunity to collaborate, to help you on this journey. We help clients every single year, well, buy and sell properties in the Rochester market. We love our jobs. And if you're interested, we'd love the opportunity to touch base. All of our information is in the details below, the descriptions below. Call us, text us, whatever you want to do, send us a pigeon if you must. Looking forward to it. See, first and foremost, you have to understand your buying power. And what do I mean by this? Most people, when they're buying a $300,000, $400,000 house like our clients, they tend to obviously need a mortgage. And with that being said, you have to understand your buying power from a bank's perspective. There's the two really big and important things that you have to take into account. Number one is debt to income ratio, or how much money you make versus how much you have to spend. And number two is going to be your credit score. It's going to show the bank exactly how trustworthy, quote unquote, you are, to ultimately make sure to see how low of an interest rate they can give you. It's like this: the lower your credit score, the higher your rates. Second thing is understand the riches are in the niches, or the niches. And here's what I mean by this. You see, when our clients are saying they want a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, it gets difficult because where specifically do they want? What neighborhoods, what commodities, what accolades in those areas, what schools, what park, you know what I mean, kind of thing. So understand that the riches are in the niches. Go and drive around in some of these areas. Ask us for suggestions for food places, where you can go do any activities, what you like doing. We've got hundreds of different things. We've got a PDF built out. I'll send it over to you if you want it. But for the most part, understand that specific areas have a specific vibe. Figure out what vibe aligns with your tribes, and then ultimately start looking there. This way, you don't have to waste time driving around left and right, and ultimately we can have more of a bidding power with the properties that actually exist, that we actually want. Thirdly, and this is gonna make some people mad, don't be afraid to get philanthropic. And what does that mean? That means don't be afraid to give away some money. And here's what I mean by that. In today's market, in today's day and age, especially in Rochester, you're gonna have to pay a pretty penny. You're gonna have to pay the piper. And what this means is some homes are going $20,000, $30,000 above asking price. Some homes are going $200,000 above asking price. That happened. Ultimately, understand that from a month-to-month perspective, a $20,000 difference in price point is only about $100 a month. Like a cup of coffee when you really think about it. So understand those numbers and be okay with the fact that even if you're paying more now, you're gonna save it in the long run, especially with the appreciation. I don't know how familiar you guys are with Alex Hormozy. If you know who that is, put it in the comments below. But my friend went to a workshop of his a few months back. And I asked him, hey, what's the biggest thing that you learned? He said, Gagan, Alex plays this like a game. And I was like, what are you talking about? He says, everything that he does is a game. He gamifies the situation. And that's something that we have to make sure that we start doing here too. Let's start gamifying the objects. Let's start saying, hey, how many of these homes are actually going to sell for above $50,000? Let's start gamifying the process. Getting your pre-approval letter is leveling up. Going through a process in which you look at the home and unfortunately it sells for $200,000 above asking price, that's part of the journey. That's getting stronger. If we can gamify the process and really just love the overall objectivity of it, then we're settled. You see, because I told you that we wrote offers, I didn't tell you the fact that we got some of them accepted. Our clients are getting homes. You're gonna get a home. The question is just when. I'm not saying these things to scare you because a lot of people are, you know, and it pisses me off so much because most of the news is fear mongering. All they do is say, oh, this is terrible, this is horrible, blah, 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 blah. And no one does stuff of it. And what's even worse, in my personal opinion, are the people that just simply regurgitate the exact same piece of notion that the article says with no opinions of their own. News articles are meant so you can have something and formulate your own thoughts. They're not something that you're supposed to repeat completely verbatim. And the reason that I say that is because there's so much news articles out there talking about how the market is absolutely terrible. You know what's the difference between now and 2008? Supply. We are still at a historic low level in supply. I'm gonna put the data right here so you can see it as I'm talking to you, but supply isn't there, ladies and gentlemen. It's not there, and we're not in a position right now where we can comfortably say that you're able to bid this low amount. Does it suck? Yeah. Are agents listing homes at way below asking price to drive up demand? Yes. But that's the game. That's the game. That's the game that we're currently in. But let me tell you something else. People will move to Rochester regardlessly of the marketplace. Death, divorce, diapers, diploma, degrees. Those are the 5 main reasons that our clients call us. And if everything that I say doesn't scare you or my tangents aren't scary, I'm sorry. I really hope that you do make Rochester home. It's a great place to live. And as the summertime gets more summier, I'm gonna start going outside and vlogging more. Today, it was literally the wind chill was like -17. My hand is still shaking. So like, please put in the comments section what your remedy is for cold hands. To add to this too, people sometimes are in a position right now where homes aren't even going above asking price. Some of these homes are selling correctly on the dot, and some of them every once in a blue moon kind of situation are actually having price drops. It's not that they don't exist. I'm simply speaking from a normality perspective. Listen, if you're interested in the list of homes that have had price drops in the last 30 days, give us a call, shoot us a text. I'll send you just that list alone based off of the criteria that we talk about. We'll just go from there. And hey, this was such a negative video. I did an entire video on why I personally love Rochester. That video is right here. Watch it, and I'll see you soon. Bye.